What's going on, everybody? David here, back with another video. So today we're going to do a stimulus check update. We're going to talk about the 50,000 individuals that will be receiving stimulus checks in September. Yes, 50,000 people will be receiving stimulus checks in September. It's specific people, so we'll go over that. We're also going to talk about the negotiations. Why does everybody want to negotiate with Nancy Pelosi? Why does it seem like the White House is really trying to get her back in the room? So we'll talk about that. But first off, please hit that like button. If you do, it really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So the first story we want to talk about is the 50,000 individuals. So if you guys remember back when the CARES Act was signed, people started receiving their stimulus checks, and there was a certain group that was not receiving stimulus checks. And so let's say you file jointly with someone who owes back child support. Well, that person that owes back child support does not qualify to get a stimulus check. But if you file jointly with that person, you didn't get your stimulus check either. Now, because some spouses weren't receiving their stimulus check, the IRS did inform them that they needed to fill out a form. So they needed to fill out form 8379. And once you fill out that form with your taxes, then you would qualify and they would go ahead and send the money out to you. But we didn't have a timeline. We didn't have a date. So now we do have a date. They're talking about early September to mid-September, which is probably more the neighborhood of mid-September to late September. But we'll just have to see. Now, they will be mailing these checks out, so you'll receive it in the mail. So I'd like to know if you guys do receive this, let me know. That way I can let other people know that the checks are starting to go out. Okay, so the next story I want to talk about is negotiations. So where are we with negotiations? So you have the House on recess, you have the Senate on recess. Congress will return September 8th. So right now, the White House is trying to get Nancy Pelosi to start negotiating. And you know, this is one of those situations where the House passed a bill, but the Senate has not. And so the Senate has to do something. So that's where we are right now. That's the hang up. So if you're wondering, well, who's holding everything up right now? It's the Senate, because the House did pass a bill. Should the House go and pass another bill and try to send it to the Senate? Or should the Senate actually pass a bill because they haven't passed anything yet? And so that's where we're kind of caught up right now. Now, the White House is stepping in on behalf of the Senate. Like, the Senate is really not even operating the way it should be operating, because they should be the ones that are in there on the negotiations. But the White House is pretty much stepping in saying, look, this is what we want. This is what the president will sign. And Mitch McConnell's just said, you know what, I'll just go along with whatever. Now, that's not the attitude that we should have from Senate Majority Leader, but that's where we are right now. And so Mark Meadows, he's indicating, yes, I'm trying to talk with Nancy Pelosi, but the biggest problem in this whole situation is they waited too late. They waited way too late. And even back when the HEROES Act was approved by the House on May 15th, that whole wait and see process, that's what's costing them more money right now and costing more heartache. Because when you have that passed on May 15th, you could have easily gone through that HEROES Act, tore it apart. The Senate could have torn it apart and put in the things that they wanted and then sent it back over to the House. And then it would have been sitting in the House, and then we would have been looking at Nancy Pelosi. But at this point, the whole wait and see, wait until July 27th, then present something July 27th, the HEALS Act, and then try to go from there. You waited too long. And so now you already knew that there was going to be a recess in August, and it was going to be for the national conventions, which pretty much they're going to be there for the national conventions. They're not going to come from recess. They might come back for a weekend, like we saw Nancy Pelosi pull them in for a weekend. But other than that, they're going to need to be at these national conventions, or at least take part in the national conventions. A lot of them are running for re-election. Let's be honest. And so in a situation like this, you waited up until July 27th to put something forward, and then you wanted it to get it rushed through. And so things don't happen that way. They generally don't happen that way. So now we're in a situation where we're looking at September 8th. They'll return September 8th. They're going to have a couple of weeks to talk about the stimulus package. But guess what? Then you have budget talks, because the fiscal year will end September 30th. And so they need to have funding, or at least agree upon funding for all the departments within the federal government. And so that's going to be something else that's going to be negotiated. And so now Nancy Pelosi has a lot of leverage, because she can look at, okay, we have budget talks that need to happen. We have a stimulus package that needs to go through, and we don't want to shut the government down. That would be crazy, right? And if the government is shut down, although you might think, oh, okay, Nancy Pelosi is going to be, carry the brunt of that. No, it's going to be the president, because the president needs to be able to get these things done. And if we remember in past administrations, when we had government shutdowns, even in this administration, we had a government shutdown. I mean, it falls on the president, and he knows that. And so this is a crazy time. This is going to be a really busy month in September, probably the busiest month that we'll see, because we have so much stuff going down. And then you have the airline industry. They're complaining that they're out of money and they need more money October 1st. So they're going to start doing furloughs and potentially laying people off. American Airlines has already announced it. United has already announced it. So we're in a situation where there's so much stuff that's happening. It's going to be crazy. So the other issue that we need to talk about when it comes to what is on the table, Nancy Pelosi has already indicated, you know what, state and local funding, we have some money now. We think we can hold out until January, but some of this other stuff needs to be on the table. We saw the skinny bill that came out from the GOP senators. That skinny bill did not have a stimulus check in there. So it's going to be very important for Nancy Pelosi to say, yeah, you know what, we need a stimulus check. She might also be pushing for hazard pay, because you have to remember the HEROES Act was based on hazard pay. That's what the big talk was hazard pay, pay for the heroes. And so that might be something that she really pushes for as well. Now, she has a lot of leverage in this situation right now, and she might continue to have even more and more leverage as we get closer to the budget talks. So this could be a situation where that $2 trillion that she was asking for, she might very well get it. And I think the White House is realizing, look, we need to come up off this $1 trillion. We need to come up higher, and in order to get something done. And so the piecemeal bill, or whatever you want to call it, it looks like that's something that is not going to happen the way that the White House wants it, or the way that the senators want it. It's going to have more to it. Now, another thing to understand too, the reason the White House is running to Nancy Pelosi and trying to get her back in on negotiating is because the Senate is stalled on the Republican side. So you have GOP senators that are not open to another stimulus package. So when you take out 15 or 20 senators, Republican senators, well, now you have to deal with the Democrats in the Senate. And so if you have to deal with the Democrats in the Senate, you're going to need Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer to get those Democrats to say, okay, yeah, you know what? We agree with this, and we'll go ahead and move forward. That is why they're talking to Nancy Pelosi, and they're not really talking to Mitch McConnell, because he doesn't have any power in this situation. He has no leverage at all, because he doesn't have his senators that are backing him. The Republican senators, a lot of them are not backing him on this situation. And so we'll have to see where it goes. But I have a question for you guys, so please answer this question for me. Should we wait for a $2 trillion bill or go with a $1 trillion bill for early September? So should we wait until maybe late September to get a bill signed, or should we do something as soon as they get back, like let's say September 8th? So let me know what you guys think about that. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.